Welcome to our show, Middle East Briefing. Today, we have some intriguing and critical stories to discuss. Let's dive right in. First up, we have a drama unfolding around a $1.35 billion Mega Millions lottery winner. The winner is being accused in a lawsuit of reneging on a promise to share the massive jackpot with his family. This legal battle is sure to capture the attention of many as it unfolds. Next, we turn to Rafah in Gaza, where Portland nurse Monica Johnston is witnessing heart-wrenching scenes. With violence escalating, hospitals are overwhelmed and critical supplies are running out. Johnston's presence, as a white American, is providing some hope, but she emphasizes that no life should be deemed more valuable than another. Her plea for a ceasefire and aid is a stark reminder of the humanitarian crisis. Lastly, U.S. officials are assessing Israel's military buildup around Rafah, suggesting a full-scale incursion might be imminent. However, the lack of a clear plan to protect civilians has raised serious concerns from the Biden administration. President Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, has expressed frustration over Israel's failure to ensure the safety of nearly 1 million Gazans. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage on these stories. The Independent reports that the winner of a $1.35 billion Mega Millions lottery jackpot is embroiled in a lawsuit, accused of breaking a promise to share his winnings with his family. The winner, who remains anonymous by using an LLC to collect the lump sum of approximately $500 million after taxes, is being sued by his daughter's mother, who is identified in court documents as Sarah Smith. She claims that the winner, known as John Doe, violated a non-disclosure agreement by revealing his winnings to family members before 2032. John Doe's father also alleges that his son promised various financial benefits but failed to deliver, leading to a family rift. The father recounts how his son's behavior changed, resulting in a bitter confrontation and subsequent estrangement. Meanwhile, John Doe accuses Ms. Smith of trying to expose his identity and making false kidnapping accusations after he refused to fund her vacation. Yahoo US shares the harrowing experiences of Monica Johnston, a nurse from Portland, who is currently working in the southern Gaza city of Rafah amidst escalating violence. Johnston describes the worsening conditions both inside and outside the hospitals, with many patients unable to reach medical facilities due to continuous bombings. She expresses heartbreak over the dire situation, noting the shortage of essential supplies and the desperate need for a ceasefire to allow aid into the hospitals. Johnston's presence brings a glimmer of hope to the local people, who feel seen and remembered by the outside world, yet she is deeply saddened by the notion that her safety as a white American seems to provide some sense of security to the locals, underscoring the tragic inequality in the value of human lives. CNN reports that the Biden administration believes Israel has amassed sufficient troops to launch a full-scale incursion into Rafah, Gaza, but remains uncertain if Israel will proceed, particularly given President Biden's warnings against such an operation. The U.S. has cautioned Israel about the lack of adequate preparations for evacuating over 1 million residents and the potential for dire humanitarian consequences. As tensions rise, U.S. officials criticize Israel's approach to the conflict, emphasizing the need for a political solution rather than a military one. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and other officials warned that a major ground operation could lead to an insurgency or chaos in Gaza. Despite significant military achievements against Hamas, the U.S. continues to push for post-war planning and a temporary ceasefire, but Israel's reluctance to engage in these discussions has frustrated Biden's advisors. New York Times, on Monday, Israelis gathered for their first national day of mourning since the Hamas-led attacks on October 7, only to find their somber ceremonies disrupted by protesters demanding more action from government ministers to secure the release of hostages. Israel's Memorial Day, typically a time for unity and remembrance, instead highlighted deep divisions over the ongoing war in Gaza, the fate of hostages, and internal politics. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faced hecklers at a memorial in Jerusalem, with one person accusing him of taking their children. In Ashdod, the National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, was called a criminal by bystanders. While the government has managed to free over 100 hostages, many families are calling for an immediate ceasefire with Hamas to secure the release of the remaining captives, even if it means leaving Hamas in control of parts of Gaza. Yahoo US, the Auraria campus in Denver was placed on lockdown Monday afternoon as police responded to an incident, marking the latest disruption in an area that has seen weeks of pro-Palestine protests. An emergency alert was issued at 4:44 p.m. due to police activity at the Student Commons building, later clarified as a trespassing issue. The campus has been a hotspot for pro-Palestine demonstrations, with students occupying buildings and staging protests against the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. These actions have led to numerous arrests and summonses. As the situation unfolded, local news teams scrambled to provide updates, urging people to avoid the area while police managed the lockdown. New York Times. President Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, revealed on Monday that Israel has yet to present a plan to the White House for the safe evacuation of nearly 1 million Gazans from Rafah before any potential invasion. Despite the U.S. commitment to Israel's defense, Sullivan emphasized the necessity for Israel to align its military actions with a political strategy for future governance in Palestinian territories. He also highlighted President Biden's frustration with Prime Minister Netanyahu, following heated discussions, and clarified that while defensive and certain offensive weapons are being supplied, the U.S. is withholding 2,000-pound bombs to avoid massive civilian casualties. Al Jazeera. As the war in Gaza, one of the most devastating in modern history, continues, U.S. universities face intense scrutiny over their ties to weapons contractors. With nearly 35,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children, killed, students across American campuses are protesting their institutions' relationships with companies supporting Israel's military efforts. At Pomona College, freshman Sinky Chapman led a pro-Palestinian encampment, criticizing the university for its connections to military contractors. This activism is rooted in a long history of student protests against wars and oppressive regimes, with current efforts focusing on divestment from defense and aerospace industries deeply embedded in academic research and recruitment. Yahoo US. Renowned Raleigh psychiatrist and philanthropist Asad Maimandi, who believed in the healing power of the arts, passed away at 89. Born in Persia, Maimandi's early life was steeped in a love for knowledge and the arts. After moving to the U.S. in 1955, he pursued a medical career, eventually becoming a prominent figure in North Carolina's medical and cultural scenes. Maimandi's significant contributions included a $2 million donation for the NC Symphony's permanent home, named in honor of his mother. His legacy includes numerous philanthropic efforts and a dedication to classical music and visual arts, continuing to impact Raleigh's cultural landscape even after his passing. BBC. The family of Shannon Bowe, a 28-year-old woman from Denny near Falkirk, Scotland, who tragically died after her aorta was pierced twice during a weight loss surgery in Turkey, is calling for UK hotel chains to halt hosting sales days and clinics for such procedures. Shannon, who had traveled to Istanbul for gastric sleeve surgery in hopes of starting a family, suffered catastrophic blood loss and died the day after her operation. Her family, deeply devastated, has joined local MP John McNally in criticizing well-known hotel chains like Hilton and Holiday Inn for lending credibility to Turkish companies amidst a rising number of fatalities. In the last 5 years, 28 British individuals have died in Turkey following elective medical procedures. These Turkish companies often host marketing events at UK hotels, enticing customers with discounted surgery packages, sometimes through predatory sales tactics. A BBC investigation revealed alarming practices, such as a Turkish surgeon advising an undercover journalist to gain weight to qualify for surgery, despite her being in the healthy weight range. Shannon's family, including her mother who is a medical professional, expressed their anguish over the lack of information and support they received during Shannon's final moments. They advocate for an end to these promotional events to prevent further tragedies. MP McNally emphasized the need for thorough research and caution when considering medical procedures abroad, highlighting the severe consequences and financial burdens on the NHS due to corrective surgeries. The call for action is underscored by the personal connection and deep sorrow felt by Shannon's community, urging a re-evaluation of the ethics and safety of such international medical practices. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.